So today I got an email this morning from one of my YouTube subscribers who said that they really love my books that I do and they'd like to see more books. So some of the books that I do, and you can check those out in my channel, they can be quite time consuming, which is why I don't always do a video, but I'll show you the book. But I found one that I could do today that is really easy. I mean, it's almost not more difficult than a card, and I think you can enjoy doing these little books. So I'm going to feature two products with this book today: the Something for Baby stamp set and the Baby's First Framelits. So you can stamp and you can cut out the images. You noticed this in my small baby's journal that I did recently. Now I am going to use a few words today from Cuddles and Kisses as well, which is a stamp set that is retired. And what I want to show you is that the one you could use instead is Celebrate Baby, which is on the same page with Something for Baby, page 74 of the annual catalog. I just don't have that set, so I'm using what I have, which I encourage everyone to do when they can. Let me show you the book we're going to make. So we're going to make this cute little book. This little book is really great for like a baby shower, where, and I'm not suggesting that you make one for every person, but I'm suggesting that you make one for the baby shower, and then everybody can come and sign the book. So one thing that mothers like to do is they like to share tips with the new mom-to-be. So this could be a book where everybody at the baby shower could write a tip to the mom, whatever that tip might be. They could also write a little coupon in here for like one night of free babysitting. Whatever they'd like to do, they would write. Everybody would write in this little booklet, and then the mother-to-be would get the book as her wonderful souvenir of the baby shower. So let's just see how easy this little book is to make. So what you're going to need is, you're going to need a piece of cardstock, card size. So just think of a card base. That's all you need, right? So half of an 8.5 piece of 11 cardstock, scored at 4 1/4. You also are going to need a piece of designer series paper that coordinates with the base that you chose. And I'm using Lullaby today, and this is going to be a baby boy kind of a card base. The other one was kind of a baby girl, but you can see that they're pretty neutral. You could go for, if you don't know what the baby is, it will still work. And then some copy paper, and what I used is 10 sheets of copy paper cut in half, which gave me plenty of paper in the book. So 10 sheets of copy paper cut in half. You're going to use all the paper that you cut, and then you just fold it in half. So you'll start by scoring all your pieces. So score your card base, score your designer series paper. I didn't tell you what this is cut at. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5 because it's the exact same thing as a card base. So it's cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and then scored in half. So you'll score those, and then as far as your copy paper, it's kind of hard to score that, and you're simply scored because it's thin. So what you're going to just do is fold it in half, and it probably is for a nice look. You use your bone folder to get a nice crease, and do that for all the sheets of paper. Now since you had 5 sheets. If I said 10 before, I meant to say 5 sheets of copy paper cut in half gives you 10 of these that I just, single cut folded. So you'll take those 10 and you'll put them inside each other to make the inside of your book. Now here's the fun part. Before you continue put your book together, enjoy a little bit of stamping. So take your stamps, and you can see that you have a lot of images in this stamp set, and this is a nice project to use them all. So I'm going to take a little ducky, and I'm going to put him right here. And so in my book, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put different images on each right side. So I probably wouldn't stamp on both sides. I'd probably just stamp on one side. That way the left side gives them plenty of room for their coupons and stuff. You can do it on both sides. You can do an image on every page if you want to. So this is a boy book, and I just stamped in pink, but you might want to stamp your images, again, coordinating with the colors in your book. And then you've got all those images on there. It's kind of fun. And then on the very front sheet, so after you've stacked them all together, and I'll show you, I've already done that. I've kind of stacked all of mine together into makes a little book. Then on the front, you can put some sentiment, some type of word sentiment in the front. So you'll see in the book that I made already, if you open it up to the front, you see a little sentiment right there. So you can either stamp that in brown or black, or you can stamp it in coordination with your card base. And this one is stamped in Costa Cabana because the base is Costa Cabana, but whatever you like best. So that'll give you some fun stamping. That's the stamping part of this project. So now that we've got the inside of the book, let's work on the outside of the book. So you have your designer series paper, and I suppose you can tell that all I'm doing is kind of wrapping the whole insides in the designer series paper. So that's all we have to do with that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut out of the front of the book the little onesie. Now you can use any of the cutouts, whatever it is that you prefer to use is fine, but I'm going to use the little onesie. And I'm just going to take a piece of temporary tape and kind of tape this down and then run it through the Big Shot. And that's how I get my window. When I get it out of the Big Shot, I'm going to take the onesie out, right? And then I'm going to put the book on the inside, right? Now, because I have this inside panel here, I might as well use it. So I'm going to take it to the inside or the other side of the designer series paper and just adhere that really well down in the center of the inside. And so it kind of, I don't waste that. I get to use it again. And or I could put it on the back too. Either way, it could go on here. But I want to use that cutout. And that's basically the book, right? So the window shows us the inside of the designer series paper. So depending on which side of the paper you like best to decorate your onesie, that's what you'd put through that's what you'd have on the opposite side. So I'm going to use the stripes just because I find them to be a little bit more masculine, but whatever you like. Now the last thing I will suggest that you do, because this is just about done, is you're going to take a metal ruler, because what happens is when you stack the little folded papers into themselves, they tend to push out on one side. And so it doesn't bother many people. You don't have to do this step. But I just take an X-Acto knife with a metal ruler and I hold that metal ruler down. You notice I'm using a self-healing cutting mat. And you just slice along there, and you don't try to go all the way through. Do not try to be Superwoman or Superman and cut all the way through this in one stripe. Take as many stripes as it takes, swipes, sorry, as it takes to cut this jagged edge off. And it's just jagged because the papers are kind of pushing out. They don't flush stack. And then what you'll notice is they'll just slide away as long as you have a nice sharp blade. So sharpen your blade before you do this, or get a new blade, and it'll look nice and clean here. Now, what I had done in the book that I showed you first is I stitched it, and I'll put on my blog the 3 stitches that you'll use for this. Basically, you'll make 3 holes, and just let you know, to make these holes, what I do is I put my ruler in the center of my book, and I center the book on the ruler, and then the center hole is at the center point, and then I take the 2 numbers at the end and I punch 2 holes there. Okay, and then I stitch through, I stitch out, I stitch in, and then I stitch out again to make a little bow, and I just added beads. Now, I just want to show you that some people don't like to stitch, so I'm going to show you an alternative way of closing this book. but on my blog you'll see the instructions for the stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stampin' Up! Piercing mat, and I'm going to open the book up completely and lay it down flat. Now it's important that when I lay this down that I make sure that the center is all centered. And I'm going to take a stapler, open the stapler up, and notice how that never happened before. So we'll see if it messes up, because this always happens when I do a video. I don't know why. I do a video, things that never happened before occur. So then I'm going to take the stapler and I'm just going to kind of eyeball the center and staple. And again, that's what happened. The staples fell out. I'm so sorry, guys. So when I push that staple down, I'm just going to keep going because we don't have a lot of time for me to recharge my stapler. But we'll staple, and then what will happen is the end of the staple will go into here, which will enable it to come out straight here. And all I'm going to do when it comes out straight there is use my bone folder to lay down both ends of the staple. And then I will have a staple. Now, I will put 3. I'll do 1 staple, 2 staple, 3 staple before I pick it up and then lay the ends of the staple down nice and neat. So that's another way of closing the book. If you don't want to stitch, you can use staples. And because you won't be on video, if your staples fall out, you can put them back in and try again. But it's really easy to do. So I think this is a fun project, guys. I think that you would really enjoy it. And here's more important than you really enjoying it. The mom-to-be will love this book forever because everyone has signed it and everyone's given her tips. And it might even save her a few phone conversations because all the tips that she might not want to hear, she can read when she wants to or not. So it's kind of a fun thing. I really like doing things like this that people can use to capture memories. You can also add pictures to this book. If you have like a Polaroid camera the day of the baby shower, add a picture of everybody in a group shot at the back. She'll love it. Alright guys, you have a great time stamping. Please have some stamping fun.